I want to start a little bit by explaining my own backstory because it is kind of crazy, and I hope it will inspire you all to live your life with passion and to find what makes you happy in life and just go for it, because when you do it, great things can happen. It can be difficult, but really great things can happen. I booked a ticket to go down to Buenos Aires, Argentina that Saturday, and then 2.5 weeks later I was going to fly back up from Santiago, Chile. So I got on the plane and I started reading the guidebook, and I made a reservation for one night at a hotel, and that was like it. And the only person I knew in the entire country was the cab driver who took me from the airport to the hotel. And so after almost 2 weeks, I was still in Buenos Aires. Like within 24 hours, no joke, I had a boyfriend, and it was so great because like living in San Francisco, even in Silicon Valley, women, you can go to a bar and stand there by yourself and smile, and no one will even talk to you. But you go to Argentina, and everyone's like, "Hola," and so the guys were so great. So I had this boyfriend, and that lasted for 3 days until I found out he had another girlfriend. But it didn't matter. The point was that I was having a great time. I needed more of a change in my life than just to quit my job. Like I needed something else. So I decided I didn't want to go back. So I came back to the bar and I said to these guys, this may sound kind of crazy, but I think I might just stay here. And if I stay here, will you be my friends? And they were like, sure, we'll totally be your friends. Like, what are you going to do down here? And I said, well, I've always thought something that would be kind of neat to do would be to help correct the translations that I see on signs and things when I travel. Because I've traveled a lot over the years, always with friends. But anytime I go somewhere, I always laugh about how the menus and the signs you see are kind of in sort of broken English. Like once I saw on a menu, instead of a ham and cheese sandwich, it was like a jam and chest sandwich. And that it's something like that. So I thought, well, maybe I can find like someone who will hire me to do that. So I spent an entire day walking around, and I finally found this magazine that published their articles in English and in Spanish. And they said, oh, we'll pay you to correct our translations in English if you want. And I did the math, and I was going to get paid like 50 cents an hour or something. But I just thought it'd be something fun to do for like a couple months, just to do something different. So I set about trying to get my book published, and the first thing you have to do is get an agent who will represent you. And agents I learned this, they get about 10,000 queries a year from aspiring authors. 10,000. And they might take 1 or 2 or maybe 3 or sometimes none in a given year. So it's really, really difficult. And luckily I didn't know that going in. But anyway, I started contacting them, and I was lucky enough to find an agent right away, like within 3 weeks, who told me that she absolutely loved my book and she thought she was going to get me a 2-book deal. And I was like, I'm going to be on Oprah. I was so excited. And I thought, this is like a Cinderella story. Everything's going to be wonderful. So then my agent gave me all this amazing feedback about how to make my novel better. Basically, my novels, I call them novels for anyone who's ever run into an ex looking like crap. It kind of like sums up what they're about. So anyway, she gave me all this great feedback about how to make the novel better. So I spent 6 months working on this thing. Like every day I would wake up super early, like at 7, and then I would be working it till like 1 in the morning. And I'm not a morning person, and I'm not a night owl. I'm like a sleeper. So for me to be up that early and up that late working on this book, it was just so exciting. And I'd never jumped out of bed in the morning thinking, today I'm going to write that press release. I'd just never been that excited about anything. So I would sit at the kitchen table all day, and my mom said she just loved it because I'd be cracking myself up like all day long. I was having so much fun working on this book, and I thought, oh my God, this is what I'm going to do with my life. I'm going to write books. I'm so excited. This is awesome. And there were a couple times where I would have to stop working on the book because I'd have to leave to go to a soccer game. And I wouldn't want to go. And then I would say, Mom, oh my God, I don't want to go to my soccer game. Can you believe it? And then we'd like hug and we'd be so excited because I'd finally found something that I loved as much as soccer, if not more than soccer, and something I could get paid to do. So I was so thrilled about it. And I knew that the average self-published book sells about 80 copies. So I said, okay, I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it right, and I'm going to prove the publishers wrong, and I'm going to sell way more than that, and I'm going to get a publishing contract, and I'm going to do it. And so I got the book self-published, and then I set about marketing the hell out of that book. And I used all my background in PR as well as my master's degree in marketing communications and everything I could think of, and I started doing all this really, really, really creative stuff for about a year. And then almost exactly 1 year later, I got a call from this guy at Amazon, and he told me that Amazon was getting into the publishing business, and they were basically launching, they sell books from all publishers, but they were also launching their own imprint, and they were going to compete with Simon & Schuster and Random House and all the big guys, and that they were going to start with an imprint that was all books that were self-published that they thought they should have been published in the first place, and they'd reviewed more than 10,000 possible selections, and they'd chosen mine to be one of the first 3 that they were going to publish. So here's a honey note. Can't face the dating scene after a breakup? Honey, hit the bar and hit it hard. Beer goggles are the lonely girl's Cupid. Ever feel like you don't know anything at all? Honey, congratulations. At least you finally know that. Life has its ups and downs, right? Honey, if you're talking about my weight and my bank account, the unfortunate answer is yes, in that order. Afraid to show your vulnerable side? Honey, that's better than showing your cellulite side. And this is the top vote getter. Is it worse to be fake or bitchy? Honey, just face it. If you're asking, you're probably both. So I've got these. So anyway, I hope that inspires you to just find out what makes you happy in life and just go for it. Because if you're not happy with your life, no one's going to come along and change it for you. So it's up to you to make things happen.
Okay.